Being someone that's played every single Call of Duty multiplayer since Call of Duty 4, I can pretty much argue that I've seen the majority of Call of Duty maps, and the ones that I haven't seen, I could probably argue the case that they're probably similar to the ones that I've played already. And this is kind of my thoughts behind today's video. It's how long will Call of Duty be able to make maps unique and a new experience for the Call of Duty player? Now, for newer players of the Call of Duty multiplayer and to the Call of Duty franchise, this video may not make much sense to you as it would to someone who's been playing it since the likes of COD 4 and COD 5. So please bear with me when I'm talking about some of the previous maps and some of the things that have pissed me off about past maps and past games. Now, one of the first points I'm going to bring forward as to Call of Duty reusing old maps is bringing old maps from previous games onto the newer games. The first time I noticed this was during Modern Warfare 2, where on the Stimulus map pack they brought across two maps from Call of Duty 4, which were Crash and Overgrown, and then on the Resurgence map pack they brought across another two maps, which were Strike and Vacant. And since then I've noticed this sort of thing happen a couple more times as well. The next example of this would be during Modern Warfare 3, when they released the Modern Warfare 2 map Terminal as a free downloadable map. The most recent examples of this would be during the current game Black Ops 2, where they brought several of the maps from the original Black Ops across. However, they've redesigned them and given them a new look. However, they are essentially the same map. The first example of this is with Nuketown. They brought it forward onto Black Ops 2 and turned it into Nuketown 2025. The next example of this is with Studio off the Uprising map pack. This map originally used to be Firing Range off of Black Ops, however they've put it onto Black Ops 2 and redesigned it into a movie studio with the same layout as Firing Range. And the last example of this off of Black Ops 2 is with the map Uplink, which originally used to be Summit off of Black Ops, which they've now brought forward and redesigned into a satellite control facility. Now, all these maps I've just mentioned, some may argue that they're fan favourites and the developers are just bringing them forward as a way of giving the fans what they want. However, some people may just argue that the developers are getting lazy and can't be bothered to design new maps. Personally, I don't have a problem with them bringing forward past maps, and especially the ones that are redesigned. It shows that they're doing something and not just bringing forward an old map. There are several maps that I personally would like to see brought forward onto a new game. However, that's a topic for a whole different video. Now, in my last video I talked about how one of the new maps reminds me of a different map, and this may be the case for several different maps as well. Now, some people may say that the map Wetwork off of Call of Duty 4 reminds them of the map Hijacked, but for me that's a step too far. Just because they're set on a boat doesn't mean they're anything alike. With the amount of COD maps there's bound to be some similarities between maps. It may not be the whole map, it may just be a certain area of the map that is similar to another one and reminds you of another map. And this is where I think that the developers, for the most part, do quite a good job in keeping the maps unique and varied, because off the top of my head I can't really think of many examples of where a map is similar or the same as another map. But I mean, how long can they really keep making these maps unique? Now, I'm no game developer, and that's clear for the world to see. I can barely edit a video together, render it and put it onto YouTube. That is about the limits of my ability. But this doesn't mean that I couldn't come up with an idea for a map. And this must be quite good for a Call of Duty developer as well. They can take ideas from the public. Now, I'm unsure whether this has or will ever happen, but it's always there for them to draw on. Another good thing about designing Call of Duty maps is, with exception, there really is no limitations. They can go backwards in time to World War II, World War I, that sort of thing, or they could go forward in time to a time that they can really make up anything they like, as it hasn't happened yet. For example, I mean, how long is it going to be before we see a Call of Duty map set in space? I mean, we have kind of seen it before with Moon, the zombie map, but to have a Call of Duty multiplayer map could be something quite interesting, and it could be something that they're already looking into. One example of a direction Call of Duty maps could take is the Battlefield approach, where the environments are destructible. Now, personal opinion, I wouldn't like to see this in Call of Duty, but it could be something that they're looking into or could want to do in the future, and it would also make the game more realistic. The amount of times I've thrown a grenade at a wall and the wall's just stood there and done nothing. Now, I've talked a lot about the Call of Duty multiplayer maps, however there's a lot of areas of Call of Duty that most of what I said applies to. For example, how many times are we going to see the same guns used time and time again on a Call of Duty game? Two of the biggest examples of this I can think of, the P90 and the M16. I like both of these guns, but I'd like to see some new ones. And I'm not just saying that all the guns are reused. I see quite a few new guns in Call of Duty, especially in Black Ops 2. And this is one of the few areas that I congratulate Black Ops 2 on. It actually has got different guns and new guns to the Call of Duty franchise that we haven't seen before. Another area of Call of Duty that needs to stay fresh is the campaigns. In recent years I've stopped playing the Call of Duty campaigns because they can get a little bit repetitive. Your path's already carved out for you, you've just got to follow it and kill a few bad guys on the way. And these really aren't the sort of campaigns that I enjoy anyway. I prefer the more open world campaigns like Far Cry and Dead Island, where the missions are more optional and not level based. And finally, one last point I want to make about this is that with the new game coming out, not soon, but close enough that people are just starting to talk about it, and with the new console coming out around the same time as well, hopefully the Call of Duty developers will think, right, new console, new game, fresh start. We'll show the community what we can really do, and show the competition that we can beat them at any cost. Because with the new console, I'm sure there's going to be franchises popping up that think they can take on Call of Duty. And if Call of Duty wants to survive, it's going to have to adapt and become more unique to deliver a firm backhand to the competition and put them in their rightful places. Now, just before I go, I'll just tell you about the gameplay in the background. You've probably noticed already. It's a game on the map Rush off the Vengeance map pack. I'm using the AN94. I'll go like 40 for 11. It's quite decent because in the run up to this I was playing absolutely crap, but I managed to pull my finger out and finally got a good decent gameplay to upload with. I got double the amount of kills of anyone else, but I still didn't even finish top, so there we go, I suppose. And yeah, if you've had any thoughts or ideas or opinions that you want to share, please leave them in the comments section below. Be most appreciated if you could also leave a like. And as always, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.
RCXD inbound. UAV inbound. Good fight. Time to get paid.
I know this is hardcore, but could somebody please explain to me how the hell that RCXD car is going to kill this bloke? I'm just stunned.